Good evening, family, and welcome to the Parton's Heritage Homestead Pantry Challenge night. Tonight's supper, we're actually having steamed, I guess you call it steam. I'm boiling them, parch boiling them basically till tender asparagus. We're having some baked Cornish hens with rotisserie seasoning, homemade. And on the asparagus, we're having homemade hollandaise sauce, and we're having a side salad. It is definitely a nice veggie night. I love vegetables. Hubby loves them. I love them raw or cooked. So I'm going to show you right now. We've got mostly of the asparagus already cut and put in the pot. The water's starting to come up to a good hotness to cook these. I'm gonna actually boil them for just a bit till they're tender, and then that's it. But we went to Aldi's. Now, I don't grow these on my own, so I did buy them. But there are a couple things you want to look for when you're getting asparagus. One is size. These really matter. If the bigger they are, the more fibrous they're going to be on up the line. So this one here, to me, it's an okay one. I wouldn't go no bigger than this, and I don't know if you can see that. There you go. I wouldn't go no bigger than this one. These are the ones I prefer to have. They're young, they're tender, you can get most out of your food for it. So how I do this, now these, I will cut the ends off in a diagonal manner, just like that. And I like mine in halves. This is the size I like to serve on our plate. So I'm going to drop that in the water. Now this one here, because it is much larger, I'm going to have to come up to about this point here. You see what I'm saying about how much you actually end up losing the bigger they are? So I like them young and tender, so I'll cut that fibrous off, cut it in half, and throw it in here. Now I'll swing you around and show you exactly what we're looking at, and then see part of our dinner. I did do the roast. I did roast the Cornish hens already. We got back a little late from church, and I need to get this done, so I got these in the oven. If I'm not mistaken, in the seasoning video, I'll get this out. The rotisserie rub recipe was in it, so I'll go back and check. But that's what we did. So I'm going to take you and show you exactly what we're looking at right now, and I'll be right back with you. So here is our beautiful salad mixture. We have our little cucumbers, radishes, some colored bell peppers, a spring salad mix with radicchio. This looks so good. I'm ready to dig into it. Then over here we have our seasoning Cornish hens that we baked. It was really simple. I didn't do anything special. I drizzled olive oil on top of these. I sprinkled them all over with the rotisserie rub. Put them in my roaster pan for 350 degrees. They don't take very long. And when it reached 165, done. And then I just let them rest. Then over here, we have our asparagus starting. So we're going to cook these until they're nice and tender. We're going to go ahead after this and strain them. And at that point, we're going to make some homemade hollandaise sauce, a yummy egg custard-like sauce that goes over the top of these. Y'all, that lemon freshness with those egg yolks and that butter mix, it is amazing on artichoke, or on artichokes too. I've used it for artichokes. I use it for my asparagus. I've used it on salmon, eggs Benedict, you name it. There is so much you can do, but that refreshing flavor from that is amazing. So, and we are going to use our farm fresh eggs, and we're going to find out, these are normal size eggs. This one here, y'all, I don't know if you can see that. That thing is gigantic. So I'm needing 4 yolks in my recipe. I am going to use these 3 eggs because I am seriously thinking this is my first double yolker for the season. So we will find out together. Okay, when I make this sauce, I'm not going to do the double boiler. I'm going to actually show you a very easy method to making this. I use this nice blender. It works perfectly fine. I don't have to worry about the double boiling in it or anything else like that. So now this thing is loud. I'll see if hubby can hold the camera for me while I make this sauce, but we still have a bit to go before we can get to that point. But I thought I'd show you what we're going to be using to make it. Okay, so our asparagus is ready. We'll be turning this off and I'll be straining this. In the meantime, I'm going to take an entire stick of butter and I'm going to melt this down very gently. I don't want to bring it to a boil or nothing like that. I just want to bring it down very gently because I'm going to be using it to drizzle in our hollandaise sauce. Before I continue, I do need to let everybody know I am not claiming to be making meals that are keto. I'm sorry, but keto is classified under every area you can think of when it comes to diabetes, and there's several versions of it. What we learned since June was what triggered my husband that spiked his sugar. And mainly we eliminated those triggers, or we moderated them to a very low level. Now, for the most part, what we totally eliminated, which is one of diabetics' worst enemies, are basically, now this may not be for everybody, but for the most part, potatoes, rice, breads, and we went to alternatives. The high starchy foods, we went to lower carb foods or things, and the things that I'm learning to be able to make homemade out of. We are not, and I try not to use that word keto, because keto basically falls under the line of high protein, and it eliminates an awful lot in your diet. I won't say the classification that they call us. I just simply say we eat foods that are lower in carb. But again, ours are about 50 to 80, and I don't count carbs. I learned my husband's triggers, and I do know the more fresh vegetables and fruits of certain kinds, we can easily enjoy them together. We can get the vitamins. We're not missing any food. And when you see this meal tonight, I mean, you would look at it and say, can a diabetic really eat this? Yes, they can, folks. And this is what my Pantry Challenge meals are about. Not just the fact that I'm showing you how to use the things that we have on our own homestead, but to show you in another aspect, if you are living with diabetes in your home, on your homestead, wherever, like we are, I'm showing you how you can enjoy a beautiful meal that doesn't spike. Now, the last meals that you've been seeing, my husband's blood sugar ranges since his accident has finally calmed down, and that was messed with by his pain. He wasn't feeling good, and that happens. But now that he's back down to normal ranges, he has been ranging between 101 to 116. Now that even doesn't include the fact is if he adds his ice cream, his low carb ice cream he likes, I mean that does all affect into it. But for the most part, it's been between 101 to 116. So me preparing meals like this, he doesn't miss anything. And I don't want anybody to be misinformed exactly on how I'm doing this. I'm cooking for my diabetic. I learned his triggers. I learned more about what has a tendency to spike more than others, and I learned what things I can moderate and a few things to totally eliminate. So these meals are showing you that you do not have to be deprived. So in the meantime, I'll get off my rant on that. I'm going to go ahead and strain these, and we're going to go from there. I've got my butter. Now I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to bring it down to a melting point because I need this melted. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now I'm going to separate my eggs. I am seriously thinking, now I'm only going to use 2. If I need to, I've got another one to make a third. But I'll probably use 3 yolks instead of 4. But I'm really curious if this is a double yolker. So I'm going to start with this one first and separate it. I kind of don't want to. Man, I feel sorry for my girl, though. That is a huge egg. And yes, it is. Ah, sweet. Okay. So, I don't know where my egg separator is. Oh my gosh, how beautiful. No. Alrighty then. So, I don't need the whites. I just want the yolks. Look, y'all. Double yolks. That's my first one of the season. I'm so excited. So now I'm going to carefully, if I can, get my yolks out of here for my sauce. Snap. All right. I got a little bit still in there, but that one broke trying to get it out of there. Oh, and I got one more to try. I wish I knew where my egg separator was. I may have to just get another one. And there's my 3 yolks. Alright, so I need to get this turned down. That's my butter, and I don't want it doing that. So I'm going to take it off the eye, let it finish melting on its own, and I shall be right back with you. Okay, so while this butter is sitting here slightly cooling off, we're going to finish. Now we have 3 egg yolks. I need 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and naturally I'm going to use our homemade Dijon. So I need 1 teaspoon of this. I need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And this is going to go in our blender afterwards. Alright, there's our 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Now, because this is my homegrown cayenne pepper, it tends to have a bit more potency than anything you can get at the grocery store. I'm learning the hard way, even at being a year old on my shelf. I am going to have to grow some more of these next year, though. I am just going to take a pinch of this, of cayenne, just for an extra kick, and that's all I need. I'm going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt because I am using 1 whole stick of unsalted butter. So I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to this. And I can adjust the flavor after I taste my sauce. So that is the end of this. Now this will go in my blender. I will take this, after I blend this up right quick, I will take the butter then and slowly drizzle it into my eggs to make my sauce. So I'm going to see how I can set this up with you. Okay, so at this moment I'm going to pulse the egg mixture like I showed you. Now this is going to get loud, so I won't do this fully, but I wanted you to see how I'm going to actually do this. So I'm going to set this on low. Let's see if I can get that to stay open. Move this over so I told you I have little space in this place. So now I'm going to actually start this on low, and I'm going to drizzle this butter into here to make this sauce slowly. the way it threw it. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this and let you see what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so this is the final end of our sauce. It is kind of thick, smooth, creamy, lemony, and this is what hollandaise sauce is. And it goes so well with our asparagus, and it will go well with our roasted Cornish hens. So I can't wait to do have this tonight. So I am going to now set us up for supper, and I will show you the final plate. And there we have it, y'all. Our lovely supper for tonight. Asparagus with hollandaise sauce, a nice roasted Cornish hen, and a side salad with all the veggies and a little bit of cheese. Now, I haven't put on hubby's dressing yet. I usually let him do that. But tell me, a diabetic cannot eat well. Until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead. Hope you enjoyed our pantry meal tonight.